they're doing it really well. Another first down. 6 points for Warren. A pitch out there. Good run for the Hurricanes. Denbigh is going in the air for a bomb. Catch. The Wolverines, the 10, 5, touchdown Woodside.
All right, high school football, Newport News. It is tonight, Menchville versus Denbigh in a city showcase. Greg Bickaveris along with Nate Milton, our 28th year. Nate, for us though, with all the rain, it's game 2.
That's right, my friend. We are back and better than ever, and we've got a great game for the people tonight, Menchville and Denbigh.
Both are winless. Somebody's got to win tonight.
Yeah, this is basically a Super Bowl type of game for both teams. They want to win so they can finish their season off on a good note.
All right, let's get down to the field. Nate, first of all, what are the keys tonight for Menchville?
I think the keys for the Monarchs tonight, Greg, number one, they've got to come out with some passion. I think that's something that we've seen that has been a little bit lacking from this team all season long. They got to come out with some passion. They have to dictate the tempo. But the other thing is they can't make mistakes, Greg. They can't have silly turnovers. They can't have silly penalties. They got to go out here, play aggressive, but play smart. And for the Patriots, Greg, I think what the Patriots got to do, B2 Harris and this offense has got to come out starting strong. They've got to come out here and start efficiently and effectively and really have the Monarchs on their heels. So I think this first quarter is going to be very important for both of these teams as they try to get their first win of the season.
Real quickly with a team.
Yes, of course, special point calls tonight.
My name is Sergio.
Yes, absolutely. This is a very special moment here. The superintendent of Newport News Schools out here
very
with both teams.
You know, this is football. You're going to play hard, you're going to hit hard. But let's remember one thing. Let's respect the sport. No taunting, no baiting, none of that. You guys are the team champions. You've been chosen as
this is all about tonight, Greg. It's all about taking a stand against bullying. So after the coin toss, we're going to see a cheerleader from each team meet at the 50-yard line to make a declaration against bullying. And that, a lot of things we got planned for tonight.
HSL football. That will be the head. On the opposite side is the goalpost with the tails. Menchville, you are the visiting team. He will be tossing the coin up in the air. Before he does that, we need you to make your call on what will it be, heads or tails. Say it loud so Mr. Sean Justin here.
Tails.
Tails.
Tails is the call. Tails is the call.
And it is tails. All right, so Menchville. In Menchville, you have one to toss. So you have the choice. You can defer your choice to the second half, which is what you want to do. All right, gentlemen, stand by. Menchville has won the toss, and we'll defer the choice to the second half. Okay, so you will take the ball first. Which goal would you like to defend? You want to defend that goal and kick that way? All right, gentlemen, let's turn our back to the goals we are defending. And Denbigh will be receiving at this end. All right, guys?
The Denbigh Patriots will be receiving. The Menchville Monarchs will be defending the goal to the east end of the field. Ladies and gentlemen, the month of October is Anti-Bullying Month, and tonight here at Todd Stadium.
All right, of course, George Parker, the Newport News School Superintendent.
Absolutely, great job. As you see right there, October is Anti-Bullying Month, and this is what tonight is all about, Greg.
So for Denbigh, what are their keys?
And again, for Denbigh, I think they've got to come out and establish the tempo. They got to be aggressive. They got to get Menchville's defense on their heels. And this is going to be a very interesting game. That first quarter, like I said, Greg, is going to really tell the tale of the tape tonight.
It really has, too. You talk about Menchville 5A, Denbigh 4A. Denbigh's the home team tonight. And, of course, last year, Menchville won the game 7-0 over Denbigh.
And the great thing right here, Greg, you're seeing, this is a heated rivalry, Menchville and Denbigh, but they're coming together to take a stand against bullying.
Absolutely. Everybody should go to school and only worry about one thing, academics. That's it.
Yep.
And eating their proper lunch, listening to their teachers, going to school in time, and not worrying about any distractions when they're studying. I totally agree with this. All right, our officials tonight, Nate, are Sergio Jimenez is the referee, Sean Judge is the umpire, Chris Jones is the head linesman, Ron Wyatt, Craig Moore, Jermaine Ball, and Patrick
or
Mills,
preserve
respectfully. Good crew.
power and balance
Great crew
between
for
the
tonight.
aggressor
And
the
again, you talk about bullying being such an issue these days, and more than anything, we want these kids to feel safe at school.
Good evening. My name is Madison Payne, and I am a junior at Menchville High School.
Good evening. My name is Angel Brooks, and I'm a senior at Menchville High School.
STAND is our movement to encourage students to stand up for each other and to discourage harassing behaviors, including teasing, spreading rumors, or shaming students because of their appearance or beliefs. Bullying is never okay. When you see it, say something. When you see it, do something. And if you are doing it, stop.
We want our schools, homes, and communities to be a place where everyone feels safe and accepted, where there is a sense of belonging for all students.
Change starts with us. Let's work together to prevent all forms of harassment and bullying and promote a culture of respect. Thank you.
And good evening. My name is George Parker. I'm the proud superintendent of Newport News Public Schools. And I'm here to stand with students tonight just to make sure that we have a culture of respect in Newport News Public Schools. So parents, students in the stands, we will do a march during halftime, but could you at this time stand for our students, stand up against bullying and harassment, and let's give our students a round of applause. Thank you very much.
All right, excellent job again by the superintendent and the kids. Not easy for the kids to speak publicly.
Yeah, and that was a very poignant declaration that the young women made right there about bullying. If you see something, say something, do something, and working together, both the students, the administration, the parents, the community, we can stop this thing.
Menchville in the white, purple, and gold. They're the visiting team. Menchville on the year is 0-8. They still have a game against Phoebus left. Denbigh is also 0-8. They've got a game left against Warwick as well, all because of the weather.
Yeah, the weather has really messed things up and switched the schedules around. But we are glad to be able to bring you this game tonight, folks. And we're going to see. This is a game that was originally scheduled for earlier in the year. We're going to see if having those extra weeks to prepare makes a difference tonight.
It kind of worked out well because it's a classic rivalry.
Yep.
Nate and I have called this still the classic rivalry of Newport News. Because there's no more Warwick and Ferguson, that would have been probably number one. This is definitely number one now. Heritage Woodside's still too new.
Yeah.
This is the classic rivalry with a lot of alumni.
Right. And even though both teams have not had the success of Heritage at Woodside, this game still means something.
Right. It resonates throughout the entire city. And we'll do the last time in the postseason a little bit later. Greg Bicaveros, Nate Milton, at Greg Bick on Twitter. Glad you're with us for more. Go to nnpstv.com. 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League, our 28th year. Menchville will be kicking off, coached by Ray Savage. Denbigh, coached by Newport News City Councilman Marcellus Harris. Swivel, and Denbigh does the right thing by going right across the 30. So again, jitters. They're playing on a random night here. You don't want to mix up things, but so much.
Right. Usually when we bring the folks these games, Greg, it's on a Friday night. This is a Tuesday night game in the middle of the week. The kids have just started the school week again, and so we're going to see which team can come out here and switch that gear, flip that switch, and come out here and get things started early on.
Denbigh in the all-blue uniforms. And, of course, Denbigh likes the spread offense. Menchville countering at the 4-3. Denbigh going left to right in the blue uniforms. Flags all over the place. In the series, the last 19 years, Nate, Denbigh leads at 15-4.
Wow.
False start.
And Menchville is just
5-yard previous spot. Still. First down.
And Menchville certainly wants to reverse that trend tonight, Greg. for Denbigh, again, you cannot have silly mistakes, penalties, turnovers. Those are the type of things that have plagued them all season long, and they don't want to have that happen tonight against Menchville.
11:57 left. Here come the Patriots, keeping on the ground. That's smart because the run always opens up the pass. So right here, I'll take care of some notes. Nate will do the second part. Execute third down conversions, energy, offense, defense, special teams. Listen to coaches.
And again, you got to play all 48 minutes, close it out in the fourth quarter, eliminate the turnovers. The red zone is crucial. The line play is going to be big plays, big explosive plays. They've got to focus on now, Greg. The trick plays can come into play. And, of course, they got to enjoy their time out there. This is still at its core a game. They got to have fun out there.
First quarter, no score, Denbigh on the outside. And Denbigh, of course, looks to Hughes as the quarterback. He's been the veteran. For both teams, they need to learn how to close the deal.
Yeah, when you talk about, Fabian Hughes bringing that senior leadership, that's the one thing I think that Denbigh has not really capitalized on this year. They've got a lot of upperclassmen, and they've got to be the guys to kind of steward in the young man underneath them, the juniors and the sophomores. They got to acclimate them into this thing, and we really have not seen that so far this year. But again, Greg, one game can kind of turn around how you feel about the season. Tonight could be a big game for them.
Absolutely. Both teams looking for that first win. And they've scored some points this year, too. Denbigh going for the bomb. And it's incomplete. Wow. Incomplete. Good play. Caught Menchville secondary off guard.
Yeah, I think if anything that you could criticize on that play, maybe he was hung up a little bit too long. But that was a great job by Denbigh and Coach Harris to try to catch Menchville off guard, to try to throw a new wrinkle out there in terms of the offense. But Menchville, you got to give those defensive backs credit. They got back there and they covered and were able to break up that play.
You got to convert on third downs, too.
That is big. Third down conversions, we see it on every level, Greg. High school, college, the pros. That can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game.
Denbigh, the special teams punting. Greg Picavaris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Game number 2 for us in 2018. Decent punt. We'll see what type of roll it gets. Very good roll. Excellent roll. Menchville averaging 10 points on offense, giving up 25 on defense per game. Denbigh averaging 9 on offense, giving up 44 on defense. Menchville's lost to Warwick this year. These are all close games. 20-12. Bethel 21-12. Kickoff 35-20. Norca beat them pretty bad, 43-6. They played Hampton tough, 16-0. Gloucester beat them 20-13. Heritage only beat Menchville 20-18. And Woodside beat them 26-6. Menchville's been in a lot of the games, maybe except for Norca.
Yeah, they've been more competitive this year. We haven't seen as many blowouts as we have in years past.
For Denbigh, they lost to Dinwiddie 70-7. Phoebus 54-0. Gloucester by 1 point, 34-33. Heritage 34-12. Woodside 47-0. Hampton 49-0. Kickoff 41-8. Bethel 29-12. And of course, they still have Warwick left. So this is game 9 for both teams.
Yep.
Classic Newport News rivalry, Menchville and the White. Menchville keeping it on the ground right near the 40. Of course, the official tonight, the head referee, is Sergio Jimenez.
Menchville, I think if you're the Menchville Monarchs, Greg, again, you got to establish the tempo on offense. You got nothing to lose. Let's be realistic here. You've got nothing to lose. Neither one of these teams is going to make the postseason. So come out here and have fun. Come out here. This is a big game, a rivalry game. You're on TV. You got the bright lights out here. Come out here, have fun, and try to make a statement.
Right. It's not Friday night. It's Tuesday night. And regardless, they want to put a showcase game out here tonight in front of the fans. And Menchville right there keeping on the ground. Yeah, that's Perkins, Nate. Menchville's had some great players in the past, like, of course, Rodney Womble, Al Toon, as well as David Macklin in the past. Stabler, Hunt.
Yeah, as a proud Menchville alumnus, there are so many, great guys from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, but the tradition just has not been there over the past decade or so.
Metro started off in 1970 through 2018. They've had Coach Nuttycombe, Tom Jacob, Bob Pierce, Mollenhauer, Charles Bryant, Tidwell, Byron, and of course Ray Savage, the former Virginia player, played for Warwick High School, and Bill Lyons. Bill Lyons also coached Oscar Smith.
And that right there is kind of part of the issue, Greg. When you've got the turnover in recent years of the coaching position, it's hard to get consistency, and that's what we have not seen from these Monarchs as of late.
Metro will keep you on the ground. So the big play is going to be key tonight.
Absolutely, and I think if you're Menchville, again, you're playing with house money tonight. You can just go out there and have fun, throw it up there, try some new things that you haven't tried in terms of the offense this year, mix things up, and really try to catch Denbigh unaware. Because as you read those scores from the games Denbigh's played this season, you can run the score up on Denbigh. Once you get that first punch in, you can start to wobble him and knock him down. So we'll see if Menchville can get those body blows going, to use the boxing analogy.
Stoppage of play with 7:15 left. Greg Bigaveris along with Milton Gladger with us. Our 28th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com.
And of course, folks, do not forget sports highlights recognized by the Newport News City Council.
At Greg Big, at Sports Highlight, at HR Online Mallcom, at N8 Mosaic, at HRSMHOF, at GJB TV, as well as all on Twitter. Thanks for following.
And don't forget, folks, you're watching Prep Football on Cox Cable Channel 47 in Newport News and Verizon Fios 17. Tell your friends about us, NNPSTV.com.
Sports highlights, sports scene, and sporting events on YouTube. Staff, students getting it done on NNPS TV. On TV, online, on the go, NNPS TV.
There you see, Greg. Sports highlights Monday to 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. And, of course, Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. on Cox 47, Verizon Fios 17.
Perkins keeps on the ground. He improvised, Nate.
Yeah, DeAndre Perkins, senior, started off as a running back, played a little bit in the defensive backfield. Now the man behind center for the Menchville Monarchs. Again, senior leadership is a big deal out here, especially when you got two teams that haven't had the most success. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be that leader to pull their team to victory?
And keep your eye on the big boy, number 64, Goggins from Menchville, 305 pounds. Of course, he plays very well.
Brady Goggins, and he's only a sophomore, Greg. He's still growing.
Absolutely. I like his enthusiasm. Metro's got number 1, Hearts on the outside. Of course, when you're trying to get your confidence up, this is what happens. You got to get that first win. Flags all over the place. This has not been a good football year for really nobody. Not for Hampton.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather has been, we've had 2 hurricanes. We've had a lot of rainouts. And, of course, these kids have had to play on random nights.
Yeah, this entire season has been a mixed bag. And as you mentioned, the perennial powerhouses like the Hampton, they've had an up and down season with a lot of stuff going on with the coaching position there. You talk about Gloucester. Gloucester surprised some people.
They beat Hampton.
Gloucester's beat Hampton. Gloucester surprised some folks this season. You had Heritage that started off well. They've kind of fallen back to the pack. And so yeah, this season it's anybody's game.
Excellent run by the Monarchs. Number 5, Nate, that's Hales, and he's hailing tonight.
Giovanni Hales to the chief. But there is a flag down, my friend. But that was a very strong run.
To number 5, Giovanni Hale is.
Flags all over the place, 6:32 left. No score. Greg Bigaveris, Nate Milton Gladger with us. Denbigh likes to spread offense, 4-2-5 defense. The strength is resilient. Weakness is the depth. Last postseason for Denbigh was 2016. Denbigh's had some great players like Mike Tomlin.
Defense, 15 yards from near the run. Result of the play, first down.
Mike Tomlin, Antoine Buffet, Max Yates, Of course, some great players in the past.
That was a big penalty right there, Greg, for the Denbigh Patriots. Not only does Menchville get the yards from the run, but the face mask brings Menchville into scoring position now.
This is where they got to capitalize here in the red zone. 6:25 and counting. Kind of a dangerous snap, but Menchville makes a lot out of it. And they go to the outside, number 11, Nate. That's Becton.
Randot Becton, another senior, the wide receiver, 5'9", 140 pounds. They're leaning on their seniors right now. They're leaning on their team leaders. And I like the offensive flow we're seeing early on from the Menchville Monarchs.
Denbigh's last win was October 7th, 2016, where they beat Warwick 28-24. Denbigh was 0-10 last year, 3-8 the year before, 4-7 in 2015. Menchville beat Denbigh last year 7-0, as noted earlier. Menchville in the white. Menchville went 1-9 last year, and that was the winner over Denbigh.
False start. Offense. 5-yard previous block. Still. Second down.
So even every yard in the red zone becomes difficult for a team like even Menchville or Denbigh.
Every yard counts. And you know, going back to the Denbigh record, you read those records over the years, Greg, and we both know Marcellus Harris, a great man, city council, great coach, great teacher.
Ran for mayor.
For these young men, yes, ran for mayor. But you know that he is not pleased with the way the team is going over the past few seasons, and they want to try to turn things around tonight.
Of course, we live in a scoreboard, win and loss record world.
Yeah.
Good resiliency by both teams. Half the battle is showing up, and you got to give these guys a lot of props for showing up. As far as Menchville, in 2015 they were 1-9. Same in 2016. Last year they went 2-8. Both teams are 0-8 this year. Both teams have a game left after tonight. Denbigh's got to play Warwick. Menchville's got to play Phoebus.
that is not an easy task, my friend.
Not at all. Denbigh, of course, has had great coaches like Matt Boone, John Quillen, Bob Schmidt, A.C. Cawthorn, Tracy Harrod. B2 has been here for a long time. And Menchville scores. And nice run right there by number 5, Hales.
I'm telling you, that was an excellent run by Giovanni Hales. I really like the setup of that play for the Menchville Monarchs. Coach Ray Savage with a good play call right there. They went through that option, and you didn't know which running back was going to get the ball. Ultimately, it went to Hales, and Hales went right up the middle. A great play. Menchville Monarchs draw first blood on the Denbigh Patriots.
And both teams have been kind of snake bit. They just want to get that win tonight.
Well, yeah, and I hate to say it, Greg, but just as winning can become a learned mentality, so can losing. And that's the job of the coach, to try to break that habit.
That was Jared De Los Santos.
Jared De Los Santos. I like that. Great job by the Menchville Special Teams right there.
Number 40.
The Menchville Monarchs, as we've seen, they put up some points this year, Greg. It hadn't translated into wins, but they've been able to put points on the board. The question is, will Denbigh be able to respond in kind with another score?
Again, Metro's averaging 10 on offense, 25 on defense. Metro in the blue. We'll see if we get a shot at the coaches. Marcellus B2 Harris and Ray Savage. Savage played for Warwick. Harris played for Ferguson and Tommy Riemann. And, of course, Savage played for Bill Lyons, a former Oscar Smith and Warwick coach. 7-0. Metro strikes first with 4:55 left in the first quarter. That's so important for their confidence.
It is. And you know, you talk about building blocks. We mentioned the players that Menchville has in the future. Hales is another sophomore, Greg.
Yeah,
he's
good.
Another building block that Menchville can kind of lean on for the foundation going forward. It's just a matter of, you know, finishing games, like you said, and coming up clutch in the fourth quarter.
Of course, Nate and I want to congratulate the Red Sox for winning the World Series over the Dodgers. And people are talking about that on WFAN in New York, that Kershaw always does well during the regular season, but the postseason he starts getting tired.
Yeah, it was a bit of a Freaky Friday situation because David Price, another person that has had problems in the postseason, and he came up big in the World Series. So again, congratulations to the Red Sox. I'm not the biggest Red Sox fan, but I do have a lot of friends up there in Boston.
And of course, we saw Drew Brees a few weeks ago. Congratulations to him, all-time leading passer in the NFL. So a lot of good records this year. And Menchville's got the lead here, 7-0 over Denbigh up the middle across the 40. In fact, Brees, November 4th, 2001, was the Chiefs of the Chargers, completed a 20-yard touchdown pass to Freddie Jones in the fourth quarter. Brees' first NFL touchdown pass gave the Chargers a lead, but they lost 25-20 to, of course, the team they played that day.
Drew Brees, just one of those great coaches quarterbacks over the years, Greg. To me, somebody that was too short, quote unquote, to play the position, but he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, my dad and I saw him play against Ohio State in 1999. I mean, he's been playing for a long time. 2001, remember he played for the Chargers first.
Yep.
And of course, him and Rivers were kind of going back at it for a while. Rivers was in NC State at the time. He's been playing in the NFL for a long time.
And Drew Brees is one of those players that he's very important in the NFL history because people thought that he was going to end up going to the Dolphins after he'd gotten hurt and he left the Chargers.
With Saban, maybe.
And had Drew Brees gone to the Dolphins, maybe Nick Saban stays in the NFL and doesn't go to Alabama. Who knows? Maybe the Saints don't win a Super Bowl after Hurricane Katrina. Drew Brees changed the face of the NFL.
That's one of the assistant coaches there. Denbigh throws it right into the hands of Menchville.
Wow.
That is a nice Menchville interception. If you're Denbigh, that's not what you wanted.
No, that's what we talked about, Greg.
What's the rush?
You can't afford turnovers, penalties.
Or turnovers. And that was an interception. Everybody's got to stay alert for 48 minutes.
And the person that made that interception, Amarion Ely, again, Greg, another sophomore. Menchville they've got some players. The question is, can they come along? Can they develop in these next two seasons and actually put something together for the Menchville Monarchs that they haven't seen really since the days of a David Macklin or a Robert Hunt or a Bobby Stabler?
Nice shot of the outside again. Menchville's exploiting the outside of Denbigh, number 11. That, of course, is Becton. Give him some bacon.
Dante Becton.
Give him some bacon.
5'9", 140 pounds. Hey, we don't need any bacon, my friend. We had some good pizza tonight, but we don't need any bacon. But
speak for yourself on that one. I'll take bacon any day.
Hey, we're in the Halloween season, in the Thanksgiving holiday season. I'm trying to lose a couple pounds before Thanksgiving, Greg.
Speak for yourself. Had me some pumpkin pie the other day.
I want to make some room for the turkey.
That's a big, Olympics Thanksgiving. A food Olympics. Menchville again, conservative. That's Hales on the outside. Menchville's playing very conservative, very smart right now.
Yeah, they're playing conservative, Greg, but they're also being aggressively conservative because they know the weakness right now for Denbigh is that front four. And they're attacking, and they're doing a great job. We saw a good block on that run right there by Hales. I like what I'm seeing right now by the Menchville Monarchs. Where has this been all season long?
Ray Savage, the coach of the Monarchs. There he is in the black jumpsuit there. Excellent gentleman. His white shirt sticking out a little bit.
Yep.
He's a taller fellow, folks. That's him. Went to Warwick High School, played for George Welsh at Virginia.
His son, a former Menchville Monarch. A good player for them over the years.
Like we said, Menchville's had some great players like Womble and Toon and Mack
Prior to the snap.
Hunt and Stabler.
Encroachment. Defense. 5-yard previous spot. Still. First down.
Poor guy's out of breath.
and another penalty
I'm
for
talking about
Denbigh.
the official.
and Clifton Richardson, one of the more recent
Virginia
standouts for the Menchville Monarchs. So they've had players over the years, Greg. It's just a matter of putting everything together.
Piecemeal. A lot of piecemeal. Of course, Nate and I want to give our condolences to the people in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Again, it was good that the kids talked about bullying and behaviors and things like that. And right now, the temperature in this country is a little too hot.
Kids and adults both to behave.
And right, exactly. And so what we saw in Pittsburgh was a tragedy. It's something that should never occur. The one silver lining, though, is you've seen people come together. And the community in Pittsburgh working together to help these people through this tragedy. So, again, our hearts go out to the people of Pittsburgh. And hopefully this is something that people can learn from. We can do better as a country because nobody should ever have to go through that again.
As we said on Sports Scene, may their memory be eternal.
Absolutely.
2:30 left in the first quarter. What Menchville wants to do for them is get the lead and sustain the lead. They want to get a comfortable lead.
Yes.
Because they've seen too many leads slip away.
It's
Menchville in the white uniforms. Kind of a trick play there. And that, of course, is number 84 for the Monarchs, Norfleet.
Norfleet just ran into Kaheem Scott.
He ran into a fleet of Denbigh Patriots.
Scott did a good job taking that fleet down. But again, to your point, Greg, Menchville, one of the biggest problems they've had all season is finishing off games. We've seen they can put some points on the board. They're not, they're not the Chiefs. They're not Pat Mahomes and them boys out there putting up crazy numbers. But they can score 10, 15, 20 points a game. The problem is they can't close these games out.
Menchville's only been shut out once this year. That was to Hampton, 16-0. They played very well, just not close the deal. Flags all over the place. Denby's been shut out by Phoebus, Woodside, Hampton.
Hales credit the stop to them.
That's it.
And we do have a flag on the play. Preliminary signal on the infraction is holding against the Menchville Monarchs.
Penalty on Menchville. 1:35 left in the quarter number one.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards. Spot of foul. Replay. Second down.
Way to go, Sergio.
That's the rare penalty against Menchville.
Well, just like you said, they're trying to get in the red zone. They go a couple steps back.
Yep, and that's you might be able to get away with that against Denbigh, but you're not going to get away with that against Woodside or Phoebus
or anybody else.
Or anybody else, really, the better teams in the district.
Sergio Jimenez, Judge, Jones, Wyatt, Moore, Ball, and Mills, the officials, doing a great job. Thank you to Jim Mayhew for all his help this year as well. And that was flags all over the place,
wow.
Incomplete, with 1:14 left in the first quarter. Penalty on
intended for number 11, Renan.
The Menchville gets a break there, Nate.
And again, Denbigh can't afford these penalties, Greg. They can't afford penalties. They can't afford turnovers, which you've seen tonight already.
The signal on the infraction is defensive holding.
All right, Greg
Holding.
McMarris along with Nate Milton.
Offense. 10 yard. Previous spot. Replay. Second down.
1:14 left. In. And we hear everybody in the truck loud and clear.
Sergio's gotten a lot of screen time tonight.
Yes, he has. Maybe the Screen Actors Guild.
So, yeah, Sergio needs a SAG card.
Nate and I need our after cards. That's the same thing, pretty much.
Sergio might be up for a nighttime Emmy after after tonight's game.
Nate's trying to get his Oscar. I'm trying to get a Tony. 1:14 left in quarter number one. Menchville, time of possession is key, and they've done that very well tonight. And there's our buddy again. It's dry weather, but it's hailing tonight.
I've been very impressed with Giovanni Hales tonight, the sophomore, 5'10", 200 pounds, plays running back as well as outside linebacker on the defensive side of the football. And again, you're right. This is what Menchville needs to do against a Denbigh team that wants to pass, a Denbigh team that wants to play up-tempo. How do you stop them? You grind the game out. You make it ugly. You get dirty. You muck the game up a bit, and that's what we're seeing by Menchville. They're just continuing this ground-based offense. They look a little bit, and I know this is going to sound crazy, my friend, it's a little bit like the Woodside Wolverine offense, where you just wear another team down until you score, and you take up all the time on the clock.
Yeah, you watch what you see throughout the year. And that, again, is Hales. As the first quarter has only 20 seconds left. Menchville leading at 7-0. Nate with the recap.
All right, we've got a One score by the Menchville Monarchs, 5-yard touchdown run by Giovanni Hales. So far the man of the night for the Menchville Monarchs. And the current score, 7-0, the Menchville Monarchs on top of the Denbigh Patriots, Greg.
The clock is rolling. We'll see what the Monarchs and Ray Savage can do. Great line of scrimmage shot. We'll see what the officials say. No call yet. And that should, regardless, end the first quarter. And indeed, it does. So the first quarter is over. We played 12 minutes at Todd Stadium. Menchville leads it 7-0. We'll be back after these messages.
There's a variety of hands-on experiences. Chooses select students to create a great small community. Is located at an airport for applied learning. And is career-oriented for students who are going to pursue aviation in their future. For more information, please contact the Aviation Academy at 757-886-2745.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
All right, welcome back here, folks. There you see the score. Menchville 7, Denbigh nothing. Very nice graphic. Greg Bigaveras at Greg Bick on Twitter. Nate Milton.
At in the number 8, MOZAIK, Nate Mosaic on Twitter.
And Menchville's trying to add to the score, and it looks like no call yet.
Looks like there might have been a little bit of movement from Menchville.
On Menchville, yes. Score still remains the same. Menchville wants to pound.
Yeah, Menchville.
They can't afford turnovers. Flags.
They're really working that option offense right now. We've seen a lot of ground and pound. And for Menchville, that's a smart idea because they're chewing up the clock, they're chewing up the yards, and they're keeping Denbigh off of the field. And Denbigh wants to pass. Denbigh wants a more wide open spread offense. So a great game plan right now by Ray Savage and the Menchville Monarchs.
And, of course, Denbigh wants to stop any type of score. And Perkins gets it. Pick 6 for DeAndre Perkins. 13-0.
Great job by Perkins. Just followed his blocker into the end zone. Said, don't believe me, just watch. Great job by the young man. I've been really impressed tonight by the Menchville Monarchs with the patience they've shown, Greg, with the consistency they've shown on offense so far. This is a Menchville team that there's something here, Greg. There's talent here. They just haven't been able to put it together all season long.
For the last several years, it's been difficult to close. Regardless, it's 13-0. Menchville now 14-0 after the extra point, and they lead it over their rival, just separated on Lucas Creek Road.
And as you mentioned, Greg, the oldest rivalry in the city. This is a game, it's a cliche, throw the records out the window, but it really means something tonight when you've got these two teams playing, Menchville and Denbigh. Again, oldest rivalry, this is, we miss Ferguson, of course. We miss, the old rivalries back in the day, but currently this is it right here, Menchville and Denbigh.
This is a classic rivalry.
This is the classic rivalry.
All right. Go ahead.
There you see it, folks. Rising 11th graders. If you're interested in TV production, call Telecom for info or to schedule a tour. 591-4687, 757-591-4687, extension 0. Again, if you're interested in TV production, if you're interested in being in front of or behind the camera, give them a call. And, of course, you can earn college credit. So, again, shout out to Ray Price and Carl Daniels and the great work they do at Telecom. Greg Lesko.
Call 591-4687, extension 0. Of course, 757. Swivel kick. Denbigh gets a good field position, but Denbigh's got to capitalize. Here in the second quarter, Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, 14-0. Couple different folks have scored tonight.
Yeah, and we saw early on for Menchville, this is going to be a ground-based game. We saw a 5-yard touchdown run by Giovanni Hales that put the first points on the board for the Monarchs. And then moments ago, we saw the TD run by DeAndre Perkins, the QB keeper. And your score as currently constituted, the Menchville Monarchs on top of the Denbigh Patriots by a score of 14-0, Greg. Again, of course, Giovanni Hales with that first touchdown in the first quarter, and DeAndre Perkins, the quarterback, with that second score moments ago.
Denbigh in the blue, and a nice reverse. And they can pull that jersey. You can also pull the hair, too. People don't realize that. You and I don't have any hair. But we don't have any hair. But there are players out there with a lot of hair.
Yes, you and I will not be mistaken for Troy Polamalu.
No.
But yeah, that's the thing. You know, jerseys, hair, anything can be used. And that's why when I was playing back in the day, our coach always used to say, if you had long hair, tie it up and put it under your helmet so
it'll hurt.
The other players can't grab it.
2nd and 10 for Denbigh in the blue uniforms. Both teams 0-8 this year, playing with a lot of heart tonight. And Denbigh on the outside, flags all over the place.
First big run for Denbigh. We'll see if it stands, though, Greg. As you mentioned, more flags from our officials.
Both teams just trying to get some momentum. Menchville's got the lead. Stay tuned for our halftime festivities.
Flag on the play.
And that is going against the Denbigh Patriots.
On the infraction holding against the Denbigh Patriots.
We've seen about 7 or 8 penalties on Denbigh tonight, Greg.
Offense. 10 yards, foul. Replay. 2nd down.
Denbigh, of course, just trying to get some momentum. They've been struggling tonight. Again, this is a random night.
Yeah.
They're not used to playing the basketball plays a lot on Tuesday. It's not football. But it is what it is. This is a good, clear fall night tonight. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Absolutely. And not only is it a Tuesday night, Greg, it's the night before Halloween. So I'm sure there's been a lot of distractions this week for the kids out there. So we'll see if they can focus and Denbigh can make this comeback.
Nice pass. Complete. Woo! Big play. What Denbigh needed. Still on his feet. Number 5. Kevin Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, Kevin Anderson. The kids call him KJ.
Not the windows.
The senior. 6'1", 150 pounds, did a great job not only getting out there to make the catch, Greg, but then you saw the intelligence of the kid right there to put the brakes on and pick up some more yardage by cutting back to the interior of the field. Nice job by Denbigh on that connection. We'll see if that is the spark that this Patriots offense is needed.
They need some type of points before intermission. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, glad you're with us on Cox Cable 47, 517, and NNPSTV.com. We are your on-air talent tonight. And Denbigh, of course, spinning around. They just don't want any turnovers or penalties here. Like Nate has so eloquently said, a lot of penalties tonight.
This is a big series right here, Greg. It's still very early in the game, but you kind of get the feeling if Denbigh does not score here, it's going to be a long night for the Patriots.
Absolutely. Stoppage of play. Let's get to our last time in the postseason, Nate. We get our graphic up last time in the postseason to Carl and the people in the truck. And, of course, it's been a long time for several teams. Some teams not as far. But the last time in the postseason that'll be our graphic coming up here. So let's try to get that up visibly so our public can see it. And we'll take a look at that here in just a second or two. Menchville in the white uniforms, coached by Ray Savage. Denbigh in the blue, coached by Marcellus B2 Harris. Denbigh leads the series the last 19 years, 15-4, but Menchville won last year, and they're trying to win again this year.
Yeah.
Let's again look for that postseason graphic, folks, in the truck. Postseason graphic. Last time in the postseason.
And it has been a while for particularly the Menchville Monarchs.
Yeah, postseason, playoffs, whatever you want. We've got it.
So playoffs? We talking playoffs?
Morris said that, didn't he?
Yep, Jim Mora. We'll be lucky to win a game.
Let's take a look at that, folks. Last time in the playoffs, postseason. All right, there we go. Nate, for Denbigh, we're going in alphabetical order here. 2 years ago, Heritage last year, Menchville 1993. Wark a couple years ago, and of course Woodside last year.
Yeah, so even Denbigh has struggled the last couple seasons. They've had success in recent memory that they can draw on. Menchville, you got to go all the way back to 1993 in that game against Indian River, I believe. And
right,
Robert Hunt's not walking through that door. David Macklin's not walking through that door. Marcus Lee Dink is not walking through the door. Tracy Parker isn't walking through the door. And so Menchville's got to find a way to get back to that old glory.
Yeah, I remember when Dr. Gilpatrick was coming in on the booth with us, he couldn't even wonder why sometimes Menchville is doing what they're doing when they're winning.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago. Great job by the guys in the truck. Thank you.
And again, shout out to Tom Jacob, longtime coach at Menchville, who
was coaching then.
It was coaching back then, and recently was an assistant on the Woodside Wolverine team for Danny Dodson.
It's very difficult once you're a head coach to go back and be an assistant.
I thought that was always one of Coach Jacob's best traits, that he wasn't one of those coaches that needed to be me first.
Denbigh on the outside. And they're getting closer and closer. They're in the red zone, of course. Again, great job by our superintendent for the toss and the bullying. As Nate and I have said all the time, no bullying. Kids should go to school, eat their lunch, listen to their teachers, and go home.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards. Spot foul. Replay. First down.
Yet another penalty, Greg, by the Denbigh Patriots. It seems every time they get something going, they get some momentum, those penalties come back to bite them.
Like Dr. Kilpatrick said, academics, athletics, activities, those are the three great things of our school system. Here comes Denbigh.
Wow.
On the reverse. Across the 20. And again, good defense there by Menchville. Menchville's player, one of them almost looks like he pulled something, but he looks like he's okay.
A little razzle-dazzle right there by the Denbigh Patriots.
That's Koa Natola, number 44.
And again, we hope these are the young men out there can avoid injury tonight this late in the season, but you got to give Denbigh credit on that play, Greg. Trying something different, tip of the cap to B2 Harris for that play call right there. Again, you got nothing to lose. You're playing with house money. Go out here, have fun, be creative, be inventive, and try to get some points on the board.
8:32 left till intermission. Way overthrown. You don't want to get sloppy.
No, you don't want to get sloppy. I think, he saw a man cutting up in the seam. He had him for a second, but then just overthrew it. That's not going to get it done if you're the Denbigh Patriots on offense.
8:27 left till halftime. Greg Picaveras, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. You see the score right there. Menchville up 14-0. Nothing fancy, just a little ground football.
Yeah, just bread and butter. Like, you talk about Thanksgiving, Greg. They're not even breaking out the turkey or the stuffing. This is just basic bread and butter football. Just a hot little roll with a little honey butter on it.
I'll take that all day.
Maybe some cornbread.
All day long. Denbigh throws it, way overthrown. Incomplete.
And they're just not on the same page right there. They had that one great deep pass to K.J. Anderson. But other than that, Greg, they've kind of stalled out once they've gotten here close to the red zone.
We're trying to think of the red zone, I think of ketchup all the time. And Nate and I are one of the few that like ketchup on our hot dogs.
Love it.
I don't know why the big deal about that is. I like mustard and onions too.
I know,
so what's wrong with ketchup?
Especially folks in Chicago have a problem with the ketchup on the hot dog.
We love it. Ketchup is just great.
That's not a bad idea, though. Somebody at the ketchup company needs to sponsor somebody's red zone, the ketchup red zone.
Again, overthrown. Wow. So Denbigh's got opportunities, but it's almost like, They're on an island.
They're right there too. The opportunities were right there 3 times in a row. Going to the end zone, they weren't able to make the connection. It's like your cell phone only had 1 bar on it, and you're not able to make a call out. They were just not able to find a connection right there.
Or like you say, flip phone, and you were looking for an iPhone charger.
Hey, nothing wrong with a good flip phone. That's classic.
They still work very well reception-wise because there's no computer attached to it. Anyway, regardless, 14-0. Menchville going left to right in the white uniforms, coached by Ray Savage. And here come the Monarchs.
I will say, though, Greg, I will give B2 credit for going for it on 4th down because
nothing to lose.
Exactly. You got nothing to lose. Why not go out here, try to make some plays, try to give the kids a touchdown to get them something positive, to get some energy going on that sideline.
Especially coming up to halftime. Again, Denbigh still has to play Warwick. Menchville still has to play Phoebus. Greg Picavaris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. We'll get to our crew list in the 4th quarter. Ray Savage in the black jumpsuit there. Here comes Hales. And Hales is so far being the player of the game so far, Nate Milton.
I have been very impressed with Giovanni Hales. He's getting a lot of downfield running right now. We're seeing great blocking up front, and then Hales is doing a great job following his blocks and then accelerating when he gets past the line.
You got to execute, like we said, 3rd down conversions, energy, keep it up. It's not a 12-minute game. It's a 48-minute game. Offense, defense, special teams, listen to your coaches. Ray Savage learned a lot from Bill Lyons and George Welsh both. We've had both of them on Sports Highlights. Here comes Menchville in the white. Wow. Right up the middle. Menchville looks like a very seasoned team. They've been playing very close this year, but you add up their wins, they've only had 4 wins total since 2015. It's about closing the deal.
Yeah. And good job by the linemen up front. You got to give a tip of the cap to what they were able to do because that hole was big enough that you or I could have run through and at least picked up 5 yards. Great job by the Menchville Monarchs offensive line so far.
You and I would have run for our lives. I still got that finger tap from Christofali way back playing basketball at my church. Menchville, of course, near the 40. They're just chewing up clock, too.
Nice run by Perkins. I've been very impressed by his poise tonight. Again, this is, as you mentioned off top, Greg, this is their Super Bowl. This is their big game. You know, they're not going to make the postseason. There you see the Denbigh cheerleaders trying to get the crowd back into this game. Menchville and Denbigh are not going to make the postseason. This is what it's all about. Can you beat your rival?
And that's one thing Nate and I want to see in 2019.
Yeah.
When we do more games, there's more people here at the games.
Come out and support these kids.
No matter what night they play.
Yep. Come out and support the kids. They're working very hard as student athletes. Come out here and show them some love.
Menchville again on the ground. Number 1, Hearts. He showed a lot of heart there, too.
Nice run right there by Destin Hearts, the senior 5'7", 105 pounds. Only 105 pounds. That you saw that quickness, that water bug-like agility right there from the young man.
And it was reported that Ray Savage will step down after the season. I did go to practice the other day. Yes, we do attend practice here. We do our research here for 28 years. That's why we were recognized by the city council as number 1. That he's still thinking about it. So, you know, probably not. The paper said no.
Right.
But I'm sure maybe we can talk him into staying 1 more year.
And I think
would be nice for him, especially if they get a nice win tonight.
And I think if you're Coach Savage, you see this talent right here again. Giovanni Hales is a sophomore. You got some talent, some young players.
I tell you one thing, Hales, the running back for Menchville, has played as good as any running back we've seen the last several years.
You've got some good young players here. You've got a foundation, and again,
and a good line too.
You got a good, strong offensive line, a young offensive line. So, you know, again, it's a personal choice that Coach Savage has to make, and we respect that, and we respect the work that he's put in here for Menchville. But it would be good to see him come back for one more season.
We need to focus on Ray Savage on the sideline. We're getting a lot of assistant shots. Okay, 5:10 left. And here's Hales again. Ray Savage again played for George Welsh.
Yep.
And, of course, George Welsh was the assistant of George.
And, again, Ray Savage's son, former Menchville Monarch. I know that was a big part of the reason why he wanted to coach his team, to have that connection with his son.
Absolutely. George Welsh was also the head coach at Navy, assistant at Penn State, and of course that helped out Ray Savage as well.
A great job so far tonight by Coach Savage and his Menchville Monarch offense.
Looking really good. Looking really good. Played with a lot of spirit, a lot of heart. And Menchville on the air. We'll see, they're not known for their passing. The flag's all over the place. So it's almost like when you throw the ball, it alerts the referees.
Anything can happen.
It's like a red flag.
And yeah, we've seen so far, Menchville, like you said, Greg, has been very consistent, very methodical with this offensive attack, running the ball. And so that throw was a little bit out of place by Perkins, but we see another flag on this play. I've been very impressed with Coach Savage and the Menchville Monarchs tonight.
We'll see what Sergio says here in just a moment. He likes to talk, that's for sure.
And Denby's giving him a lot of opportunity for camera time tonight.
Oh, he can tell he loves it too.
Pass interference. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay.
Wow.
Second down.
Big penalty for the Denbigh Patriots.
Yeah, well, great opportunity for Menchville to try to tack onto this lead in the white uniforms. Menchville likes that spread offense. Denbigh countering on a 4-2-5.
And this is
a big play coming up. Hales again. Regardless, the clock is chewing late in the second quarter. We hope to do a postseason game for you as well. It's still early because there's another week left of football, so we'll do all the parameters this weekend.
Well, hopefully, Mother Nature
looks like they're going to host, though.
Yeah, and hopefully Mother Nature will stay away this weekend and all the games can be played because we don't need any more delays or schedules.
Woodside's regular season's done. They're 8-2, and congratulations to Danny Dotson,
Absolutely.
the dean.
Another winning season.
His 20th year. That pass is touchdown. Late call by the ref, too. Looks like Norfleet. It is. Norfleet taking his own ship out to sea.
James Norfleet, the kids call him Jimmy, the senior tight end. Did a great job, and I like that pass from Perkins. He threw it to where only Norfleet could catch it on the edge of the end zone, and a good job by Norfleet extending that frame and bringing it in.
Because the rules. Sometimes you need 1 foot, 2 feet. I mean, not many opportunities for Denbigh at all there.
Yep, and for the viewers at home who might be unfamiliar,
and the kick is good.
The viewers that might be unfamiliar with the high school rules, it is like college. 1 feet equals 2 feet.
Yeah, 21-0. It's been all Menchville in the first half.
Man, nice job.
Both teams looking for win number 1. But the thing that you can tell tonight, it's very obvious. Nice scoreboard shot there by our director as well, is that when you talk about Menchville, you can see they're there. They just haven't learned how to close the deal. There's no checkmate this year.
And this is why if
you let teams stay in the game.
This is why I would certainly like to see, again, it's Coach Savage's decision, but I would love to see him come back
yeah.
for one more season.
We're petitioning Ray for one more year.
Because the cupboard is not bare, as they say. There's some good talent
and there's
here.
not a lot of depth on either team.
No. And we'll see if this is a Menchville team. Does this game tonight, is that the start of a turnaround for the rest of this year? They got a really tough game against Phoebus. But again, if they can
the
play.
try was good. After the foul was over. Personal foul.
Wow.
Offense.
Oh.
Personal foul. Defense. Personal offset.
Wow. That's not what you want to see, Greg. I know this is a heated rivalry. I know this is an intense rivalry, but you don't want to see personal fouls and things of that nature getting into the game right now. That's not what tonight is all about, especially when you talk about it in the context of the STAND program and how we want kids to be able to work together and end bullying and things of that nature. Yes, it's good to be competitive. Yes, it's good to be fiery and aggressive, but at the same time, you got to be respectful of your opponent.
Yep. And congratulations again. Both teams are trying, giving it their heart and soul. You can see the energy level is all for Menchville right now, though.
Yeah,
that's quite obvious.
And I think the problem is it's kind of like going back to that boxing analogy. If you got a guy that's been knocked out a couple of times, it's easier to knock him out the next time because he's been conditioned to fall into that position. And so we're going to see, can Denbigh step up right now? Can they get off the canvas and fight back?
Got listeners texting, they're hearing radio commercials on the radio. Well, thanks to all of our listeners. We'll look forward to basketball season as well.
Yep.
And, of course, hopefully we'll get a Woodside postseason game, weather permitting. Nate and I have turned into weatherman this fall.
Yeah,
we talk about Michael and Florence. How ironic, Hurricane Michael during Friday the 13th weekend.
Yes, and
Halloween is out too.
Yep, Halloween is back, and this has been a scary season in terms of weather and the games getting shuffled around and rescheduled and postponed. But hopefully we've come through the end of it. We've gone through the worst.
Yeah, Denbigh, like Nate says, needs to score before halftime. 21-0 Menchville. Nate with a recap.
All right, started in the first quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run by Giovanni Hales. Then in the second quarter, we've seen so far a touchdown run by the quarterback, DeAndre Perkins, and moments ago, a touchdown pass from Perkins to the tight end, James Norfleet. Your score, 21-0. It's been all Menchville Monarchs tonight, folks.
A little under 3 minutes left till halftime. Greg Bickavera's Nate Milton at Greg Bick on Twitter, at N8 Mosaic. You can tweet with Nate and I 24/7. We're up 24/7 now.
Absolutely.
Wait for your tweet, even at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
Nate's getting up, getting a glass of water, checking his phone.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep up with Sonny Dirt.
Yeah, Sonny Dirt is a tweet-aholic. I've known Sonny for 30-plus years. Almost 40 years. Denbigh still, they're making some progress, but, they have to stay consistently in the red zone.
Yeah, they've done a good job, like you said, Greg, of moving the ball between the 20s.
There's a lot of real estate to get a touchdown.
But when they get to the red zone, they haven't been able to cash in tonight. And again, we use the analogy all the time. It's like working all week, and then you go to the bank, you pick up your check, you walk to the teller, but you don't sign the check, you don't give it to her, you don't cash it in. What's the point?
And Denbigh in the blue gets pushed back into the dark evening hours. And, of course, don't forget, fall back, spring forward with the clocks as well. We'll gain less daylight into the evening hours. But, again, these kids, it's not just a summer sport, a fall sport, a winter sport. It's off-season conditioning. It's recruiting. It's proper nutrition. Trying to balance academics, athletics, and activities. A lot of kids now are just focusing on one sport. It used to be 2 or 3, but they realize they don't have so much time.
Exactly, and with so much that these kids have on their plate, it's not like it was when you and I were in high school, Greg. There's so much to do with the advent of social media and new media and things of that nature.
It's affected attendance too.
Yeah,
let's be realistic here. We talked about that during the offseason. They're all staying at home watching it on TV. Of course, we like that too.
But here's the other thing, though, Greg. As we've seen with Woodside, all it takes is a team to start winning, and you start to see the pride in the school build up a little bit more.
And Woodside struggled for a long time, but 20 years for Danny Dotson, who went to William & Mary, perennial postseason team. The thing with him is he just needs to evolve to the state level.
Yep.
He's done very well at the regional level. He needs to get to that state level,
and
like John Quillen did.
Yep, and he's had success, in the early rounds of the postseason. But it's, can you string 3 or 4 games together?
Right. And now look, Denbigh and Bob Schmidt on this field beat Allen Iverson in Bethel.
Yep.
That was very difficult, but Denbigh's hallmark win ever in their school history, we've said it, was done by John Quillen in 1989 against Hampton.
Yep.
That's a long time ago, though.
A game that featured Super Bowl winning coach Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Menchville, like Nate said, their best year ever was 1993.
Yep.
That was the last year they made the postseason. David Macklin was on that team, who played for Joe Paterno.
And you had Robert Hunt, who went to UVA.
Yeah, perennial powers. Denbigh looks like they're not going to score unless they get a fluke play here or a miracle. 1:20 left.
Thought you were going to give me a little Al Michaels. Do you believe in miracles?
They need some miracles here. And, of course, we're at Todd Stadium. The field starting to show its wear and tear for the year. Ran into Mr. Tyson a few weeks ago. Always good to see him, the former Newport News Schools head man in charge of athletics. Of course, Nate and I will take a break at halftime. You can enjoy the band.
Yep.
All right, we have an interview with the superintendent. Let's go.
Good evening. I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News. I am joined today with Dr. Parker, the superintendent of Newport News Public Schools. How do you have liked your job so far?
Love it. To get out in an evening like this and see our students at their best, two teams competing, and also to stand up for students against bullying and harassment. These are the type of events that make me proud as a superintendent. And I've really enjoyed my time since starting in July and working with the students and the staff here in Newport News.
And can you tell us what STAND is?
Stand Up is basically our process of recognizing bullying awareness in Newport News, and we want to usually focus on how can students stand up, how can adults stand against bullying, and how can the leaders stand against bullying. So tonight we're all together. We're going to march in a few minutes down the track, just symbolically showing that we're all together for one cause, to make sure that our students' mental well-being and physical well-being in Newport News is taken care of. And I encourage all students to, again, speak out whenever you see bullying. Make sure that you are advocating for yourself also, and letting adults know when you see things that are contrary to the way we should treat each other in Newport News. Because we want to have a culture of respect, and we want to make sure that we love on each other. Because if we're not going to love on ourselves, who will? Okay, so that's what we're here for tonight, is to support each other as one Newport News, and I'm glad to be here with you guys.
How do you feel like STAND has affected the students and the culture of Newport News?
Well, it's positive. One of the things I was really impressed with, knowing that we had a acronym like Stand Up, because it's really a good way to market good behavior, and it really speaks to your actions. So I see a lot of students. I talk to them on a daily basis, and they'll mention Stand and speak out when they see bullying taking place in our schools. So I think it's done a good job of getting the word out to our students and our staff that we are responsible for our own well-being, and we have to stand up when we see things that are contrary to how we should treat each other.
Thank you. That is all the questions I have for you. I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News. We're going to get back to the game.
All right, great job by our superintendent, our student reporter as well. Hats off. Of course, we wish him all the best, George, all the best in your academics and, of course, in our leadership through our great elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. Again, George Parker.
Absolutely. Great tradition of athletics, academics, and activities here in the Newport News school system. And that's going to do it for our first half, Greg.
Yeah, and that'll take us to halftime with the score. Menchville Monarchs winning on the road, 21-0 over Denbigh. We'll be right back.
Remember, you can prevent this from happening to yourself. Wear a helmet when riding a bike. And also, watch out for cars, but still, remember to wear a helmet.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer.
Our younger students have the right idea. Today's leading careers are involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. Newport News Public Schools has embarked on an aggressive STEM education initiative that prepares students to take full advantage of STEM opportunities in higher education and career fields. So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
right, welcome back here to halftime. Nate Milton, 21-0. Recap.
All right, Greg, it's been all Menchville Monarchs tonight. Started off in the first quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run by Giovanni Hales. Followed up in the second quarter. We saw a TD run by the quarterback DeAndre Perkins. And to cap it all off, a pass by Perkins to the tight end, James Jimmy Norfleet. And your score at the half, my friend, 21-0. Ray Savage and the Menchville Monarchs up on the Denbigh Patriots.
All right, Nate and I are going to take a break. Enjoy the halftime festivities.
Bass drum section leader. Megan also plays varsity softball for Denbigh High School. After high school, Megan plans on attending Thomas Nelson, where she will begin work on a nursing degree. She will also miss performing with the band and spending time with her friends. Our next senior is Jakai Jackson. Jakai is being escorted by her boyfriend, Curtis Hill. Jakai is a dancer for the Marching Patriots, where she serves as a dance captain. Last season, Jakai served as a manager for the Marching Patriots. After graduation, Jakai plans on either becoming a professional dancer or attending culinary school to become a chef. Jakai will miss working hard with the marching band. Our next senior is Charles Chad Lentz. He's being escorted this evening by his mother, Laura Abbott. Chad is a member of the drum line and the front ensemble, where he serves as the pit section leader. Chad is also a member of the National Honor Society. After graduation, Chad plans on attending either Project Search or Woodrow Wilson for a job. Our next senior, Jakim Martin. He's being escorted tonight by his aunt, Tamara Bright. Jakim is a member of the Color Guard. Upon graduation from Denbigh High School, Jakim plans on attending Thomas Nelson, where she will study photography. Our next senior is Catherine Peace. Catherine is being escorted tonight by her mother, Elizabeth Morrison, and father, Jeremy Morrison. Katie plays clarinet for the Marching Patriots. After high school, Katie plans on going to college to become a veterinarian. Our last senior is Jemiah Rush. He's being escorted tonight by her friend and teammate, Kayla Lucas. Jemiah is a member of the majorette and the dance team for the Marching Patriots. Jemiah plans on going to school for cosmetology, and she also plans on dancing in college for a college marching band. Ladies and gentlemen, the seniors for the Denbigh High School Marching Patriots. After we get a picture here, the senior members will rejoin the band, and we will have an abbreviated halftime performance for you here during our intermission.
everyone. My name is Jasmine Singleton, and I am a senior at Menchville High School. Before we get started, we would like to acknowledge school board member Ms. Shelley Simon. In Newport News Public Schools, we are standing against bullying and harassment, but this is not something that we can do alone. Tonight, we invite everyone who is willing to stand with us on both sides of the stadium to meet at the far end of the field and walk one lap together to demonstrate our commitment to every Newport News public school being bully-free. If you're in the stands and you would like to join us, you can join us at any time.
All right, flags all over the place to start the third quarter. Menchville, of course.
Having the kick for the Menchville Monarchs was
Menchville leading 21-0.
Get a 7-yard return. We do have a flag on the play. Preliminary signal is going to be holding against the Menchville Monarchs.
Mayday, mayday in the truck. Mayday, mayday.
This half starting like last half ended with a Sergio.
Throwing the return. Blocking the back. On the receiving team. 10 yards from spot foul. First down.
Sergio, the man of the hour, Greg Vicaveras.
Yes. 21-0 in favor of the Menchville Monarchs. We'll see what Menchville can do to capitalize on their lead. In the third quarter, at Greg Bick on Twitter. Glad you're with us. That's GREGBIC. And, of course, N8 Mosaic. Menchville the reverse. We've seen a lot of that. Of course, that is number 11, Becton.
And this is going to be interesting, Greg, to see how these teams come out here in the second half, because we did have a bit of an extended halftime because of the anti-bullying ceremonial lap that took place for the STAND program. And so we're going to see if both teams can maintain their focus and come out here and get back to what they need to get back to. Menchville, of course, they want to maintain what they did in the first half. Denbigh wants to flip the script and come back with some tenacity and show what they are made of here in the second half.
They got to create some turnovers and get some big plays. They can't just rely on the offense. The defense might have to score as well. Menchville off to a very good start. By the Menchville Monarchs, respectively, number 5, that's Hales' name.
Who else? Giovanni Hales, the man of the hour. Tower power, too sweet to be sour. And again, this running attack has been consistent all night long by the Menchville Monarchs. And if you're a fan of the Monarchs, if you're an alumnus of the Menchville Monarchs, then you've got to be pleased with what you've seen tonight by this team. And unfortunately, they haven't been able to put this together for the other games of the season, but we're seeing a much more enthused and focused Menchville Monarchs football team tonight.
Yeah, Menchville beat Denbigh 7-0 last year. They're up 21-0 now with 10:44 and counting here in the third quarter. 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League. We've done this game for a long, long time. 28 years of high school prep sports. In fact, we did this game way back in '92 as well. Menchville and Denbigh, just separated by Lucas Creek Road. Of course, the athletic director of Menchville, Greg Henderson, the former basketball coach, was great friends with the late Ben Moore. And, of course,
result of the play
for Denbigh, Brian Weaver.
First down.
And this game for Denbigh, Greg, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from the movie Rocky Balboa. Rocky's out there talking.
Is he back in another movie coming up, right?
Yep, Creed 2 coming out. The first Creed was fantastic. But in Rocky Balboa, he's talking to his son, and he says, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And that's what you got to see right now if you're a fan of the Patriots. You want to see them take that punch and come out here and stand up to what Menchville has done so far.
And I'll counter that. As the Joker said, Batman, think about the future for both teams.
Absolutely. And again, you're right, Greg. This is about building. This game is important for this season, but maybe more so it's important for the momentum you can take into next year.
Right. You want to come out here with a win tonight. Of course, Denbigh still has to play Warwick. Menchville still has to play Phoebus.
And those are no easy tasks for either team. Warwick and Phoebus are no cupcakes, as they say, Greg Vicaveras.
Not even on Halloween. That's number 11 right there for Menchville. Of course, Menchville can milk the clock if they want to. I mean, a 21-point lead on any team is pretty comfortable, maybe except for Phoebus.
And I mentioned it earlier, and I was halfway joking, Greg, but this is very much a Danny Dotson, Woodside Wolverine type of offense we've seen from Menchville tonight. Not a lot of flashiness. Not
a lot of passing.
Not a lot of vertical passing, but we've seen that running attack. We've seen Becton. We've seen
the great 1-2 punch of Perkins and Hales mixed up with Becton. To me, it's just as good as I've seen all year long. It just about sustaining.
Yep, it's sustainability, and also, the scheduling has something to do with that too. You can't hard to get into a rhythm.
So, folks of Menchville, fans of Menchville, remember this game, not just the other games.
Right, this is what you can take to build on for the future. And again, like you said, a player like Hales, who's a sophomore, he's got 2 good years left in him. And I think, that's a nucleus you can build around for your offense.
Remember Bobby Stabler.
Yeah.
And Clifton Richardson and Rodney Womble.
Yep, if you can have that transcendent offensive player, then it just helps to build around. And that's maybe one of the issues Menchville's had lately is not only the various coaches over the years that have switched in that position, but also having that transcendent player.
And Menchville, of course, keeping you on the ground.
Woo.
And that was a tackle out of bounds. You got to watch that. Flags all over the place.
Fancy footwork by DeAndre Perkins. Out there looking like the late Gregory Hines with the footwork right there, my friend.
I was going to say Richard Pryor.
Yeah, the late great Richard Pryor as well.
Richard Pryor is one of the best all-time comedians ever.
Absolutely.
He was hilarious. And we could use more Richard Pryors today in the world we live in. Richard Pryor was
against
hilarious.
the Menchville Monarchs.
Him and Nipsey Russell. Ray and I talked to Nipsey Russell 20 years ago. The late, great Nipsey Russell, who could rhyme better than anybody.
Exactly. And people forget, not only a great comedian, but in the movie The Wiz showed off a bit of his singing and dancing ability as well as the
4th down and 11 now for Menchville at the.
And of course, Sammy Davis
45.
Jr., who could tap dance like nobody else.
Candy Man.
And of course, Frank Sinatra too.
And not the Candy Man from the horror movie, Greg. And I know you're a fan of the horror movies. Not that Candy Man.
Not Halloween, by no means. We've seen a lot of the assistant coaches tonight. We want to see Ray Savage. Nice punt for Menchville. Everything is working pretty well for Menchville tonight. Fair catch for Denbigh.
Calling for and making the fair catch for the Denbigh Patriots was number 7, Kaheen Scott.
All right, Ray Savage now,
Patriots
folks.
ball, 1st and 10 at their own 12.
Ray Savage is on right around the 30-yard line of Menchville. He's on the field. Ray Savage, the former Virginia great football player, on the 30-yard line. Let's see if we get a shot of Ray Savage.
Just bringing that intensity to the game on the field.
Now he's moving to the 33. He's even moving a little bit.
He could go all the way.
He's
Greg.
back to the 30 now. No, that's not Ray Savage. And here's a nice run by Denbigh. Look, the Denbigh player's trying to run towards Ray Savage.
Wow, that was a very nice outside run by the Denbigh Patriots. Escape containment, was able to
Josiah Hughes, the number 18, Freddie Cowan. Cowan bumped out of bounds by the Monarchs. Number 4, Rob Newton.
And that's Ray Savage with a white piece of paper in his hands right there, directing traffic.
That was the senior Frederick Cowans on the run for the Denbigh Patriots.
8 minutes
5
left.
yards on the play. 1st and 10 for the Denbigh Patriots at their own 37.
8 minutes left in the third quarter. Greg Picavaris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Denbigh on the outside. Oh, big hit.
Man.
That was Niatola, number 56.
Number 56. Looking like Superfly Jimmy Snooker coming off the top rope. Great job right there by Seth Niatola. And he's a junior, Greg. He's a junior, so he'll be back next year, the middle linebacker.
We can hear the public address announcer louder in our ears now.
Seth Niatola with a big-time hit right there for the Menchville Monarchs.
21-0, 7:20 left in the third quarter. And that's what B2 is known for, those outlet screen passes across the 40. They're going to have to do something a little bit more than that, with time now is a factor.
And again, Niatola, you saw that hair flying in at the end of that play. He's been all over the field tonight for the Denbigh Patriots, for the Menchville Monarchs against these Denbigh Patriots.
Sure thing. Again, Denbigh's dominated the series the last 19 years, 15-4. But Menchville is going to try to make that 15-5 tonight. over the last 20 meetings. Remember, our first time we did this was back when Bob Schmidt was coaching for Denbigh and Tom Jacob at Menchville. The best rivalries Denbigh and Menchville had was Schmidt and Jacob was number 1. But number 2 was Nutty Combe and Matt Boone when Matt Boone coached at Denbigh. Matt Boone, of course, had a big win against Bethel during his heyday against Coach Kaz. Most of the time, Bethel dominated Denbigh and Menchville. Let's go to an interview with Miss Jones.
Good evening. I'm Sierra Hendricks with NNPS News, and today I'm joined with Mariah Jones with Stan. How have you enjoyed your job so far?
It's been great. It's been great. It's awesome. I love it.
And how has Stan impacted the culture and students of Newport News?
In a lot of ways. So like in the elementary schools, they do kindness campaigns during STEM months to make sure that they're all being kind to each other. In the middle schools, they've got expect respect to make sure that they're showing respect to others and others are showing respect to them. And then in high school, we've got project inclusion, just to make sure that we're fostering an environment so that everybody's included.
And how important is it for students to be involved in the efforts to prevent bullying?
Extremely important. It's through students' efforts that we can truly end bullying. So unless everybody gets involved, it won't work. So we need everybody to get involved in the best way that they can.
All right. Well, that is all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much. I'm Sierra Hendrick with NNPS News. We're going back to the booth.
All right, nice job with the interview there. And if you're Debbie, you just don't want to settle. You've got to mix it up and realize that you've got 18:34 left in this game.
Right, you got to go out there and leave it all on the field. And for the Menchville Monarchs, Greg, again, I've been very impressed with some of these young players. You mentioned the work of Giovanni Hales, but also Brady Goggins and also, Seth Nawatola. And I think that there's some players here, man. Caleb Bridges. There's players that Menchville has to build on for the future if they can all coalesce and work together.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to Denbigh, of course, Thornton, the center, and of course Stokes as well. It takes offense, defense, and special teams, but you can't win it on just one phase. You have to win it on 3 phases.
Right, you got to work together as a team. All 3 facets of the game are important, and we've seen that tonight by Menchville. We've seen the special teams play work well. We've seen the defense get in there and make some crucial stops, and then we've seen this offense just wear down on that Denbigh defense. It's been a well-coached game tonight by Coach Ray Savage.
Absolutely. 6:27 left in the third quarter. Greg Pickaveris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. 21-0 Menchville, all over Denbigh. For Menchville in the white uniforms, they can just milk the clock if they want. But there's still that was bad decision making there.
Wow.
And they're going to call that
That's
incomplete.
a live ball.
Nope, they're going to call it incomplete.
Wow.
The official even hesitated, though. Maybe he heard you, Nate.
Fortunate break right there for the Menchville Monarchs.
And Debbie's looking for a break.
Very fortunate by the Menchville Monarchs.
But that was just bad decision making. Usually when you pass, like, some bad things happen. An interception, an incomplete, or, maybe once in a while a completion.
And that, like, the margin for that was razor thin, Greg, because the difference between being incomplete and a fumble is very close.
And you could tell he did not know what he was doing at that time. He was hesitating, and those who hesitate, there's Ray Savage. There he is in the black jumpsuit there with the baseball cap. Excellent gentleman. I consider him a friend. We went to school around the same time with each other. Played for George Welsh at Virginia. Just a true gentleman in Ray Savage.
Great shot by our student camera crew right there. Ray Savage brings a lot of passion to this Menchville Monarch team.
Right, him and Derek Steele, who played at Warwick. Derek Steele went to Maryland. Ray went to Virginia, played the ACC. You've never seen that guy being cocky. You've never seen him brag. He is just an all-around first-class gentleman.
Yep.
He played in the ACC well before Ronald Curry did or anybody else. He played high school against Ray's family member, Creighton and Mickey Kermenius. When Creighton and Mickey played for Bethel in 1984, Warwick and Bethel played in this field, and it was I believe it was a tie that game, and Ray was a big part of that. Right there, first-class gentleman, has not done well scoreboard-wise, but he is a leader of men.
And again, just shows you the history and tradition in Newport News and the Peninsula District, when you talk about somebody like a Ray Savage or a Ronald Curry, Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, some of the players, Aaron Brooks over the years, David Macklin, Robin Hunt, just the tradition that has been built by these young men out here on the field.
That's the thing. Back then, we had more high school players going on to the ACC. Yep. That's a fact. We interviewed Robert Hunt and Aaron Brooks on Sports Highlights way back in the mid-'90s. And, of course, Ray Savage was there.
Even Marcellus Harris, who spent time quarterbacking at Eastern Carolina University.
Right, ECU. Of course, he played for Ferguson and Tommy Raymond when Michael Vick was there. In fact, Raymond got criticism for putting Vick in instead of B2. I think that worked out pretty well. Worked out well for both parties.
I would say Raymond had a nice string of quarterbacks. You talk about having B2, having Michael Vick, Marcus Vick following Michael.
Yep, Aaron Brooks, like we mentioned. And, of course, he's done very well at Lansdowne. He coached at Gloucester. Yep. He coached at Warwick, too. Raymond's always been a pass-first coach. See the nice graphics right there? Nate and I will get to the crew list in the fourth quarter. Greg Bickaveras at Greg Bick and Nate Mosaic.
Yep, Nate Mosaic on Twitter. And while we talking about Michael Vick, shout out to Michael Vick not only for the job with the pregame show on Fox, but also for being one of the new coaches, the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta franchise.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to turn out. They always try to compete against the NFL.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And then the XFL, Vince McMahon, they're coming back the following year, so we'll see if any of these leagues stick around, Greg.
Major League Baseball saying, really? It's still going to be hard to compete against baseball.
Yeah.
Or the NFL.
Or the NFL.
But regardless, it's an avenue and an outlet for these players. Now, I'm a big fan, too, as well, of the Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
That they go on, Joe Theismann played the Canadian Football League as well.
And we recently saw Johnny Manziel in the Canadian Football League trying his hand to play quarterback up there.
So it's another outlet for these
Doug Flutie,
kids.
Warren Moon, spent time in the Canadian Football League. So there's more than one way to continue your career after college if you are a football player.
Yeah, Menchville had Altu that played for the Jets, and David Macklin, of course, played for the Colts.
Yep.
Fumble, and you get a new quarterback in, Swartz, and he drops it.
And this is going to be a very interesting time. There you see again, folks, rising 11th graders. If you're interested in TV production, call Telecom for more information or to schedule a tour, 757-591-4687, 591-4687, and extension 0, of course, again, if you want to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, if you just want to learn about the business of TV production, I can think of no better place than Newport News Telecom. And, of course, you can earn college credit. So give them a call today, folks.
And Menchville, the reverse.
Ooh.
Still on his feet, number 12. That was Lassiter.
Speaking of earning credit, great job right there by Lassiter to break free.
Torrey Melton.
That was number 12.
Great job right there.
Of course, we're right. The TV audience knows the real deal.
They know what's going on.
Rule number 1, TV's always right. Rule number 2, look at rule number 1.
The play, first down.
All Menchville tonight. Menchville alumni very happy tonight. And of course, Nate Halloween's already going to pass by the time this airs. So we'll do our top 3 candies here in the fourth quarter. We'll tease the audience with our top 3 candies. And if we do a postseason game, we'll do our top 3 Thanksgiving foods. All right, that again is Lassiter. Our glasses work, Nate. We got good glasses, don't we?
I'm telling you, I finally have succumbed and gotten glasses within the last year, and I got to tell you, folks, it's a lot easier to see things.
We have similar glasses.
I'm trying to copy and learn from the best. Got some stylish frames here.
Now let's take a look at the Twitter page. At Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at N8 Mosaic.
There you go, folks. Again, get in contact with us. You can find us online at Greg Bick, at Nate Mosaic. Again, this is what it's all about. Social media, the new media out here, folks. 24/7. We are on there, online. Maybe not quite as much as Sonny Dirth, our good buddy, but we're out here on these Twitter streets.
Of course, great atmosphere. Thank you again to the superintendent for his time, his talent, and his treasure for being out here tonight.
And a good, again, tip of the cap to the kids with the STAND program, anti-bullying, something certainly in today's climate, Greg, something that the world could use more of is more respect for other people.
I like these classic uniforms, too. Menchville trying to pound and ground tonight. Nothing fancy, but number 4, that's Rob Newton. Give him a fake Newton.
Almost. This is a great night for Menchville. You see a lot of players
and they
getting
needed
involved.
a night like this.
They needed a night like this, a night to kind of exhale and breathe and find, a lot of times, Greg, when you work hard and you don't see the results of the hard work, you can get a little discouraged.
Kind of like what's going on with Chucky and the Raiders.
Yep. And tonight, Menchville is seeing the results of that hard work, and this is going to be a big tool for Coach Savage to use in terms of motivating this team.
21-0. 1:37 left in the third quarter, and Menchville will not score there. Got to watch the late hitting, too. You don't want to do unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah.
You want to pride yourself on sportsmanship, especially on a night like this.
Yeah, and again, this is a heated rivalry, a classic rivalry here in Newport News, Greg. You can be aggressive, but at the same time, you got to play smart and play to the whistle, not through the whistle.
Absolutely, and there's still 1 minute and some change left here in the third quarter. Menchville going right to left in the white uniforms. They play their home games for the Newport News Schools right here at Todd Stadium. Some of the road games, too. Of course, at Darling Stadium in Gloucester, too, as well. Menchville looks like they got it. Wow. And Newton scores. So we got 27-0. Pretty much can say it's checkmate.
Rob Newton with a definitive touchdown right there. The senior going out there and doing a great job for the Menchville Monarchs.
And it's 27-0 with 47 seconds left on Channel 47. And the extra point is up, and it is good. By our good buddy, number 49, your favorite, De Los Santos.
Yes, let's give it up for De Los Santos. Great job by the special teams unit tonight. Again, something that is not always guaranteed in high school football is the kicking game, and De Los Santos done a good
Frank
job.
Beamer, Virginia Tech, had some great special teams. I'll say one thing about Virginia Tech this year. UVA is playing better right now.
Yep.
That Bud Foster's come under fire. He is giving up a lot of points.
I mean, you talk about one of the biggest upsets in Virginia Tech history when you look at the other side and what the Hokies are doing.
UVA is playing very well.
UVA has kind of been in the shadow of the Hokies. And I think Virginia Tech, who has had a bit of a down year, again, they lost a surprising upset to ODU.
Lost to Notre Dame, too.
Lost to Notre Dame. I think, this is the time for UVA to kind of start to gain some momentum.
But they've got to get some win. They've got to get the win against Tech to seal it.
It's like Menchville and Denbigh. If you don't beat the other guy, your season feels incomplete.
Kind of like Ohio State, Michigan, same way. And look at Ohio State. They lost to Purdue this year. It's tough to win on the road.
I mean, outside of really Alabama, Clemson, like everybody else has a flaw.
Florida State's totally struggled this year.
Florida State, yeah. Tough year for Willie
Taggart. Of course, the NFL, the Chiefs have done great, the Patriots and the Rams.
I've been really impressed.
Special teams fumble.
Wow.
And it looks like the Monarchs got it. It's been a tough night for Denbigh, but again, got to give them credit for still fighting. 43 seconds left in the third quarter. We have played and been out here for 1 hour and 48 minutes so far.
And did you notice who was in there to make that recovery, Greg? Number 56, Seth Tyler. I know I'm messing it up, folks, but Seth has done a good job tonight. He kind of reminds me, Greg, a little bit of, we talked about Notre Dame earlier, kind of reminds me of Manti Te'o.
Sure.
That type of linebacker that's going to be all over the field, be aggressive.
Or kind of like a Bosa.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I think that,
Bosa said bye to Ohio State.
Bosa said goodbye. He made a business decision, much like Kelly Bryant.
He said, I'm not interested.
Kelly Bryant from Clemson decided to leave early so he could transfer.
Clemson's still winning, too. All right, Menchville's got the ball. Of course, they got a backup quarterback in, but they still have Hales in. Hails, and hails. No hail tonight weather-wise. And, of course, weather permitting, we hope, and scheduling to do a postseason game.
Absolutely.
If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Woodside. Now, Woodside, we'll see the seeding, how it goes.
And, again, this is almost a yearly thing now with Danny Dotson and the Wolverines that they make the postseason. But as you say, Greg, it's always about taking that next step. Now that they've won.
They've done well in the regionals.
They've won in the regionals. Now can you take that next step and try to climb that mountain?
And they're moving divisions next year, too. But Oscar Smith has been their big thorn.
Yeah, Oscar Smith is always going to be one of those perennial powerhouses that gets in the way of.
And Lansdowne was last year. Tommy Reeman was. And Danny Dotson was an assistant with Reeman under Tommy during Ferguson. All right, sports highlights. Mondays at 7, 2 and 7. Weekends at 9. Cox Cable 47 517, nnpstv.com. And Ray and I want to thank all of our great guests over the years, our great students on the crew as well, Fazoli's, for helping us out too. And, of course, we always look forward to great guests. A lot of great feedback from DJ Dozier and his team, of course, this month, and of course next month. 3 great guests on in November, highlighted by the brand new basketball coach at Heritage.
Absolutely.
Lou Radford.
Sports highlights a tradition here on Channel 47.
Get a chance to know the people a little bit up close and personal,
Yeah.
And they like the publicity. And, of course, we want to thank all the the adults and students who've been on. I think one show we got in the future, a kid powerboat racer coming
Wow.
out. So that'll be interesting.
Have you done much powerboating, my friend?
I haven't done it, no. The Hampton Cup Regatta, yeah, that's a great sport. But we had them on before, too. Anytime you highlight a kid, it's special.
Yeah.
To do something like that, I mean, it's tough enough to play tennis or golf. So, looking forward to see what Heritage does in basketball this year, in Menchville and Warwick and Denbigh. Warwick's had a lot of turnover in basketball, too, actually since Ben Moore left. All right, 25 seconds and counting left here in the third. Menchville in the white with the ball. They keep it on the ground. Woo! Still on his feet. And that is, who else, Nate? Wow. Our early player of the game, Mr. Hales.
He's the early player of the game. I think he's going to be the late player of the game as well, Greg. Great job right there by Giovanni Hales, the sophomore. Again, sophomore. Menchville has got something special here with this kid if they can cultivate the talent around him. Nice run right there by the young man. I've been very impressed with Hales tonight, Greg.
Both teams, this is game number 9 for them, and this is kind of a longer season due to weather. Menchville starts to play Phoebus. Denbigh got their rival Warwick. Actually, Warwick and Denbigh is the 2 with flags all over the place. Warwick-Denbigh is the oldest rivalry in Newport News.
Yeah.
Warwick had, great players in the past like Michael Vick. Denbigh, of course, Antoine Buffet. And we've had some great athletes from this area, too. Norm Sneed, who quarterbacked the Giants. In the mid-'70s before they became really, really good.
There's so many great athletes from this area, whether you're talking football, baseball. As we saw Justin Verlander in the Major League Baseball postseason from around this area.
And there's Hales again on a hailstorm. Woo. And that's the end of the third quarter. We got 12 minutes left here in Newport News at Todd Stadium. It is Menchville 28, Denbigh nothing. Stay tuned.
You don't have to change just to fit in. You don't have to apologize for who you are. Just be yourself, and I promise people will enjoy it. Just be yourself. Be your real, imperfect, flawed, quirky, weird, beautiful, and magical person you are. Be yourself. Because everyone else is already taken. Just be you.
All right, back in the fourth quarter, Greg Picaveras, Nate Milton, glad you're with us, our great crew and our great truck. I want to thank before we do our crew credits a little bit later, audio credits, what a great job the crew has done tonight on a school night for these kids of ours. So thank you very much adults and kids on our crew for doing a great job on a school night. So thank you again. And Nate will get to the students a little bit later. I'll get to the adults too. And of course, Nate and I will do our 3 favorite Halloween candies.
Absolutely.
Our 3 favorite candies. I'll say this, number 1, my all-time favorite is licorice.
Ooh.
Love me some licorice.
Ooh, okay.
Nate'll give his number 1. We'll kind of tease number 2 and 3.
Okay.
Nate, you're number 1.
I'm always a fan. I know it's controversial, Greg, but I'm a fan of candy corn.
Okay.
I like candy corn.
That's underestimated, too. And, they don't get the pub.
No.
But candy corn is a classic, like the circus peanuts.
Yep. I'm a fan of candy corn.
And there's Hales. My godmother used to have those orange circus peanuts. Number 2 is too hard. Mr. Goodbar, Hershey's, Nestle's Crunch,
yes,
Reese's, peanut butter cups. I mean, it's very payday. I mean, it's just the Clark bar. I'd have to say number 2 will be the Clark bar.
Okay, a little old school right there with the Clark bar.
You can dig and still find it.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 would have to be, I go with a good old-fashioned Snickers, Greg.
There you go.
Good old-fashioned Snicker bar.
I'll have to say that's my number 3.
And my number 3 would, again, the theme of peanut butter and chocolate. I love Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, I mean, really, they're all good. And that is right there, Mr. Newton.
And now they got a Reese's peanut butter cup, Greg, with Reese's Pieces on the inside of it. It's like double chocolate on double chocolate on double chocolate.
Oh, but you can have these high-end gourmet stores.
Yes.
But Hershey's is like, we've got this.
We got this.
Yes.
Leave Halloween to us, folks.
Yes. They're there 24/7. Candy apples. We're in the 4th quarter of our 2nd game of 2018.
Yes, sir.
We did Woodside Heritage a long time ago. It was a different galaxy ago.
Yes, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
And again, as you mentioned, Greg, folks watching this after Halloween, hopefully everybody had a fun and safe Halloween. And for the kids out there, hopefully you didn't go to that one house that only gives out fruit and raisins and dental floss.
And Menchville scores again. Flags all over the place. That was Norfleet on the catch.
Wondered how Norfleet got that open, but the penalty might be the answer to that, Greg.
We'll see the flag here in just a moment. 10:15 left in the game. Menchville, of course, in cruise control, Nate Milton, 28-0.
Wow. Norfleet was wide open, all alone out
Penalty
there.
is against the Denbigh Patriots. It has been declined.
And, of
It
course,
will
the
be a
Monarchs now
touchdown for
lead
the
at
Monarchs.
34-0.
Wow.
After this extra point, Nate will do a recap. All
Pass
Menchville
interference.
tonight. They've exercised a lot of
Penalty is declined.
tough losses
Result
this year
of the play.
tonight.
Touchdown.
That's Sergio Jimenez, respectively, the referee. Again, I want to thank Jim Mayhew for all his work this year in providing our referee cards. We've had him on Sports Highlights as well.
Sergio, the man of the night.
And the kick is up and it's no good. Ooh. It's blocked. Nate Milton with 10:15 left. It's 34-0. Menchville, your scoring recap.
All right, folks, it has been all Monarchs all night long. Started in the first quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run by Giovanni Hales. In the second quarter, Menchville had 2 scores, a touchdown run by the quarterback DeAndre Perkins, and then a touchdown pass from DeAndre Perkins to Jimmy Norfleet, the tight end. It was 21-0 at the half. In the third quarter, we got a touchdown run by Rob Newton, and just then, folks, we saw it. Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. James Norfleet with the 24-karat magic. 34-0 is your score. It's been all Menchville Monarchs over their rivals, the Denbigh Patriots, here tonight, folks.
And with that note, our adult crew, the executive producer, the wonderful Michelle Price, our coordinating producer of tonight's telecast, double dipping a little bit with the great camera work on the field for the pregame festivities, Ray A. Price, also the director of sports highlights. And of course, we'll get to our other credits after this kick. But great job, our 1-2 punch, Michelle and Ray. And the swivel kick. Also want to thank our great engineer, Greg Lesko. Call him the magic button. He knows the buttons to push. Flags all over the place. Our director since 1993, Bill Barlow, and of course Carl Daniels.
Yes, again, big shout out to Greg Lesko for his magic tonight for getting us on the air.
You can make sure that button is pushed. It's Greg Lesko.
And for our students crew,
ball
Greg.
will now be kicked from the 35.
No, we're giving you a compliment, Greg. We are giving you a compliment.
Here's the man of the hour, Sergio.
Sergio says, where's my Tony and Emmy?
All right, Greg, with our student crew tonight, we got Eminem, Michael McClellan, Derek, Do You Believe in Miracles, Pedro Leon, Joshua Falsagon, Joshua Stuck, a.k.a. Lil Eli Manning, Brandon Nault, Ian Tyson Odette, Xavier Bates, David Embry, Colin Biggie Smalls, Trayon Mobley, Sierra Hendricks, we've seen her all night with her great reports from the sidelines, and of course, Quan Hall on the audio. Great job by our student crew, like you mentioned, Greg, on a Tuesday night, on a school night, and went to school all day, and now they're here bringing this game to you folks. Great job by our student crew and our staff as well.
And whatever, too, live or tape, these kids and adults get it done. Professionalism at its best. Yep. Whether we go live, we've done tons of live games way before anybody else, and taped as well.
There are colleges
they
that
still
don't
get
have
it done.
Colleges that don't have this level of production that these 11th and 12th graders are bringing to the table.
Watch it on your phone. That should tell you all you need to know.
Yes.
All right, a little bit over 10 minutes left. So Menchville will improve to pretty much, if things stay in course here, unless there's a modern miracle in the final 10 minutes, they'll go to 1-8. Denbigh will go to 0-9. Both teams, again, have one game left.
Yeah, I think the only miracle at Todd Stadium tonight is going to be Derek in the truck. I don't foresee, anything can happen, Greg, but I don't foresee Denbigh making a big comeback tonight.
Not tonight. Maybe next year.
And again, for Denbigh, we talked all night about how great of a man Coach Savage is. Coach Harris for the Denbigh Patriots, we both know him, Greg. Not only a great teacher for these kids, but also, somebody that is very civic-minded in the community on the city council. And again, he just hadn't had the success translate onto the football field.
Right. Of course, B2 Harris played basketball for the late George Walters in Ferguson. See the band right there. And, of course, football for Tommy Raymond. Menchville and Denbigh have had classic rivalries over the years, just like when Warwick had Thad Madden, Denbigh had Matt Boone, Menchville had Charlie Nuttycombe, Ferguson had Ted Baycoat. Excellent rivalries back in the 70s and the 80s.
I'd say even in the 90s, Greg, when I remember when I was playing and we had Jay Reed as our quarterback one year, and then the next year he transferred to Denbigh and we had Andy Marlowe as our starting quarterback, and the rivalry just intensified from there. And so this is something, again, a classic rivalry here in Newport News. Unfortunately, both teams have gone through some tough times recently, but this is a very good win tonight for the Menchville Monarchs if they can close it out.
And they probably will with only a little over 8 minutes left and some change. So we'll see what happens in the postseason. We don't want to make any predictions yet till we see the final standings, but obviously it looks like if any of the 5 Newport News schools will host, it'll be Woodside.
Yep.
If Warwick and Heritage continue status quo, they'll probably be on the road. Denbigh and Menchville, their season will be over after their final game. Unless Menchville makes it a 1-9. That would be something. They'll be on the road regardless. And that's what you and I have always been a firm believer, no matter whether it's Newport News or any city in the country, is at least go 500.
Yeah, I think that should be the bare minimum of making the postseason.
Kind of like a bowl game, at least 6-6.
Exactly. You should go 500. And again, not to fault any team that makes the playoffs with a losing record. They didn't create the system; they're just playing by the rules. But to me, it devalues the postseason, it devalues the playoffs if you got teams in there with 3 wins or 4 wins.
And we said it, during our Woodside Heritage, how many great coaches over the years. Also want to give a shout out again to Jimmy Laycock stepping down after a Wayne Mary season.
Yeah.
Been there for 39 years. I was hoping to get to 40.
To put that into context, Jimmy Laycock has almost been coaching as long as I've been alive.
Right.
At the school. So
you still got to beat a little bit.
So you got to tip your cap to Jimmy Laycock for the tenure that he's had.
We interviewed him on Collegiate Sports Focus on then Home Team Sports 20 years ago.
Home Team Sports. That's a blast
now
from the past.
NBC Sports Washington, yes. Our YouTube page as well. Great YouTube page. I tell you, folks, that's the future right there. You can talk about Spotify and, Apple and so forth. People love YouTube. It's easy to find. Sports Scene is there. Sports Highlights is there. Our kids' great productions are there. Everything seems to be on YouTube. It's powered by Google. You can't get any more better power than that.
The future of content now is streaming. There you see the YouTube page for Newport News Telecom, and you can watch everything on there. All of our games are on there. The school board, graduation, things of that nature. So,
and you got to wonder too how many. Companies always say we're running out of storage or broadband space in our computer. What is YouTube? They never complain. They're always got a lot of timed upload.
And that's the wave of the future. With content creation, it's all digital now. Whether you talk about content on YouTube or Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whether you're talking about podcasting, it's all digital now. That's the way things are going these days.
We're the final 7 minutes and some change. Our second game of the year. Of course, we did the Woodside Heritage earlier this year. Seemed like we mentioned a galaxy ago. But the year has been superseded by 2 hurricanes this fall. One scared everybody when Florence, and then, of course, Michael was reality. Michael had a lot of wind.
Yeah. And again, to all of our viewers watching in the North Carolina and Florida areas that are still, in recovery from Michael, we want to send our best to them.
And I'll give people some Halloween trivia. You remember the girl that played Ron Howard's sister in Happy Days?
Yeah.
Joni.
Yeah.
Her brother was the Shape in Halloween. So while she was doing Happy Days with Ron Howard, Opie,
yes,
her brother was one of the Shapes in the Halloween movies.
Wow.
You can imagine that conversation at dinner.
He's talking about Michael Myers. She's talking about Fonzie. It's a very different conversation at the dinner table.
It was Erin Moran. We all remember Erin Moran.
Yes.
The late Erin Moran. She was a great actress, too.
I think Henry Winkler's birthday was today. You talk about Happy Days, the Fonz. I think today is Henry Winkler's birthday. So if Henry Winkler is watching in the future, happy birthday, Fonzie.
You said that thumbs up, right?
Hey, he was not only Fonzie, but also Coach Klein in The Waterboy with Adam Sandler.
Yep, it was Erin Moran and her brother Tony Moran. Tony Moran was one of the Shapes in Halloween. Still the most classic Gothic score I've ever heard in my life. When you hear that music, I mean, we're talking, it's no words. I guess that's fitting with Michael Myers, but as far as music is concerned, just for music aficionados, that has got to be one of the most scariest scores I've ever heard.
Just setting the mood.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler, yes, it is his birthday, 73 years old today, and get this, Greg, been married to his wife since 1978. So
you don't see that in Hollywood at all.
Shout out to Henry Winkler.
Do you remember who was born on your birthday? What famous celebrity? As Menchville leads at 34-0 with under 5 minutes left.
I shared birthday with Hulk Hogan, brother.
There you go.
What you gonna do, brother? And my sister shares a birthday with the late, great Michael Jackson. So
that's great. We saw Janet Jackson this summer at Virginia Beach.
Yes, yes.
Of course, she's still performing. Doing a little lip syncing now, but she's getting older.
Hey, Janet, and she still is not only, doing great in terms of the singing, but the dancing. And as you and I both know, Greg, the older you get, the joints don't move like they used to. So to see her out there still getting it done on stage is phenomenal.
Metro just milking the clock. Again, they're going to go to, 1-8. Denbigh will go to 0-9. You look at Menchville's team, you have a lot of guys with a lot of different color shoes on. I think it's part of consistency, having the same exact uniform.
But yeah, and I think that we're seeing so much specialization. You mentioned that kids don't play multiple sports like they used to as much, and so when you're specializing and focusing on one sport, you're going to want your footwear to stand up for you, and so we're seeing the kids with their own individual sneakers and whatnot. But Menchville, regardless of the way their shoes look, right, they have played like one team tonight. They have been on one accord, and you got to tip your cap to Ray Savage and his Menchville Monarchs team for closing out this game.
I had the same birthday as the late Tom Landry, the former Cowboys coach.
Great Tom Landry, one of the great coaches in NFL history.
Coached the Cowboys.
Always wore his signature
Michael
hat.
Irvin played for him for 1 year in '88 when Danny White was the quarterback.
I don't think you can think.
People don't realize that about Michael Irvin. His first quarterback was Danny White.
I don't think you can think of two more different people, two more opposite people than Tom Landry and Michael
Can you
Irvin.
imagine that conversation?
You got the playmaker and Coach Landry.
Yep, and then of course Jimmy Johnson later on.
Yep. So Dallas, certainly in this area, Dallas is popular, but maybe not as popular as the team in Washington. And the Redskins and Cowboys always had that big rivalry this year, playing on Thanksgiving.
The great late Larry Buffet went to Ferguson, played for the Cowboys.
Yep. And David
Ray
Macklin,
Savage
like you
right
mentioned
there.
earlier, David Macklin was with the Redskins, I believe, his final year on the practice squad.
Right. Of course, Macklin played for the Colts primarily. You got to watch those helmet-to-helmet hits.
Yeah.
That was a helmet hit right there that hurt. You can see number 2 right there shaking up a little bit. He is wobbling. Yeah, he is wobbling.
Josiah Hughes,
They
the
might
number
want to
2
keep an eye on
Samuel
that kid. Number 2 for Denbigh Hinton. He took a
Getting up to
pretty
the
hard
Patriot
hit there.
45-yard line.
Macklin with the
Sometimes you don't even know it when it happens.
No, and that that's why the new
You'll feel
rules
it tonight, though.
New rules are in place to protect the players, not only to protect the players making the hit, but the player receiving the hit.
Yeah, because there's no reason why you can't tackle below the waist or from the waist down.
Yeah. And David Macklin, as you mentioned, spent time with the Colts and Tony Dungy, but also the Arizona Cardinals, and now has some real estate opportunities going out in Arizona. And so,
and I'll say this: Paul Macklin is the AD at Woodside. We hope to talk to him maybe during a postseason game. Maybe he can come up here in the booth with us for a little bit.
I thought that was a
Join us.
great choice by Woodside.
Yes, and if Ray Savage does leave after this year, they ought to look at Robert Hunt. You know, Robert Hunt, for the former Menchville alumni, played for Virginia. There's Ray Savage right there.
Yep.
We hope he coaches again next year. He said no, but the good thing about football is you can change your mind.
Yeah, the good thing is never say never.
Right. I mean, look at Ben Moore. I mean, he coached at Warwick.
Yeah.
Then he coached at Menchville. He coached college basketball as an assistant. And, of course, unfortunately he passed away. But we had a really good interview, Ray and I did, with Ben Moore. And we're hoping to show that sometime during basketball season. It was kind of an up-close interview. I believe, Ray, we interviewed him in the trailer. And that's a classic interview right there. That sometimes you make that extra effort in life and you capture, to me, next to Jim Harvey and George Walters and Pop Pitts, Dennis Katufas, the 5 best coaches in Newport News basketball history. Ben Moore, George Walters, Jim Harvey, Dennis Katufas, Pop Pitts. And we got one of the classics in Ben Moore.
And again, Ben Moore, his memory will, as you always
Be
mentioned,
eternal.
Greg, his memory will be eternal. Not just to that Warwick family, not just to the Menchville family, but to Newport News and the community that sorely misses him.
And it's up to us to keep it alive, too, keep that spirit alive. Ben Moore coached at Menchville in basketball, but let's not forget about this. Ben would have always told you, first and foremost, he was a Raider.
Yeah.
He coached the Warwick Raiders. He replaced Jim Harvey. And I saw Harvey the other day at a hardware store, and Harvey had some great players, too, like, Dallas Corey and Mike Smith and Anthony Solomon and Fish, and Ricks. I mean, Warwick had some great players back then, and Ben Moore had some great players, too.
To this day, one of the greatest games that you and I have had the privilege of calling was Ben Moore's return to Warwick with
Electric
Menchville Monarchs.
atmosphere.
Great atmosphere, and that was an amazing night. And again, that is just a small kind of snapshot of the life of Ben Moore. He was so much more than just a coach.
Yep, he was a preacher, too.
Big part of the community.
You live right in Riverside. And Menchville on the ground. Got to bounce. Flags all over the place. They really don't need to do anything special.
No, they don't. Let's just get out of here and make sure everybody's healthy.
That's our buddy Lassiter.
There you go.
And the score is 34-0 if you're just joining us, in favor of the Menchville Monarchs.
And, of course, our man Sergio, our main man.
Satai
Got
hits on the carry.
get some shine
And he's
before
gonna
we
be
leave
shoved out of
tonight.
bounds.
And Menchville's got to beat Phoebus to go 2-8.
Yeah, this is
That's what they did last year.
Hey,
Lassiter on the
anything can
carry.
happen, Greg.
Shoved out of bounds
Anything,
by
any
the
given
Patriots.
Sunday, any given Friday, any given Tuesday,
Holding.
as the case may be,
Off
this
it.
week, anything can happen.
10 yards, Spotify. Replay.
Sergio Jimenez.
First down.
.225 left here in the fourth quarter. Greg Picaveras, some of the gridiron greats we've mentioned over the years. There's been a lot of them in Newport News. And on the south side, too, like we had DJ Dozier.
Absolutely.
Of course, Bruce Smith and Lawrence Taylor and
B.W.
Ron
Williams.
Springs. Yeah, Ron Springs, Sean Gale, Jimmy Gale. Special shout out to Coach Kaz, who coached at Bethel for 25 years.
Again, I want to give a tip of the cap, Greg, to the men and women in uniform watching the game tonight that do so much to protect our freedoms around the world.
With Veterans Day coming up as well.
Veterans Day coming up. And also, we talked earlier about the tragedy that happened in Pittsburgh this week. A big salute to the first responders.
Sure.
And the people of, our police department, our fire departments, our EMTs and medical staffs around the country that protect us and keep us safe. Thank you for doing your jobs and allowing us the freedoms to do our job.
We all have to get along. That's the bottom line. And, of course, Menchville sealing the deal here in the fourth quarter. Menchville will go to 1-8, Denbigh 0-9. Great sportsmanship by both of these fine Newport News schools.
Thank all of you for watching on NNPS Channel 47, Verizon Fios 17, and, of course, NNPSTV.com. From Boston to Boise, Fargo to Fresno, New Orleans to Nova Scotia, and all points in between. When your neighbor says, what's causing all of this ruckus, let them know I'm watching Friday Night Football, or in this case, Tuesday Night Football on Channel 47.
Absolutely. We've gone 2 hours and 16 minutes. Less than a minute left to go here in Newport News.
Still 5 hours shorter than that World Series game.
That's it. That game went 18 innings. Not 17, but 18. How about our cameraman up here in the booth tonight? Good job by him, too.
Yeah, great job tonight by our student, staff, and crew. Again, got to give a shout-out to our man up here in the booth operating the camera. I'm very pleased with our student, Trayon Mobley.
Trayon keeps trucking.
Hey, Trayon has done a great job tonight. Again, shout out to all of the students tonight for coming in.
We're going to hear Bill Barlow in our sleep tonight.
On a Tuesday. They having a lot of fun tonight, my friend.
No one talks too much. All right, the final few seconds. Congratulations to Menchville getting their first win of the year, and they are going to win it 34-0 over their arch rival, the Denbigh Patriots. And you saw it live right here on Cox Cable 47, 517, and NPSTV.com, even though it was live on tape.
Hey, it was all the way live here tonight, Greg. There you see the final score 34-0 with the Menchville Monarchs with their first win of the season, a big-time rivalry game win over the Denbigh Patriots.
And we'll come back to recap it after these messages.
Serving the community can have a big impact on society. Everyone loves when someone takes time out of their day to spend time, either just hanging out or helping out. There are many different people to serve, from kids to the elderly, the homeless to your next door neighbor. And the best part about serving is that it spreads. So take time to serve someone else, to serve your community, and to do your part.
All right, Menchville wins it here at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Their first win of 2018. You saw the drama right here unfold. 34-0 over the Denbigh Patriots. Greg Bickaveras along with Nate Milton in our 28th year. We got our second game finally done.
We finally did. We got a treat, on this Halloween Eve. So a great game by both teams, but Menchville. Man, Mackinnon had a song called The Club's Going Up on a Tuesday. Tonight, Menchville had the stadium going up on a Tuesday. Scoring recap, my friend, started early in the first quarter with a 5-yard touchdown run by Giovanni Hales, who was one of the big keys tonight for the Menchville Monarchs. Second quarter, touchdown run by DeAndre Perkins, followed by a touchdown pass from Perkins to James Norfleet. 21-0 was your score at the half. In the third quarter, a touchdown run by Rob Newton, and to close it off in the fourth quarter, another long touchdown reception by Jimmy Norfleet. 34-0 is your score. Despite, a game effort by the Patriots, Menchville was clicking on all cylinders tonight for their first win of the season.
And great sportsmanship by both schools. I want to thank our crew in the truck, our students on the field as well, and our great camera crew too. We've done 2 great games. We hope to see you throughout the entire 2018-19 school sports season. Once again, tonight, winning it was the Menchville Monarchs 34-0 over the Denbigh Patriots. For Ray Price, Nate Milton, I'm Greg Bickaveras. It's a final score, Menchville 34, Denbigh 0. We'll talk to you soon.